Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 11 of the Game Changers. Y'all, it's episode 11. Like, we've made it 11 episodes. This is huge. For two people that have never done anything like this before, what do you think, Carla? We're doing all right, right?
Whoop, whoop.
We want to thank, real quick, we want to thank the Sports Affiliation along with JC Iggy and the whole crew there. They've been so supportive of us, and thank you for giving us this platform to connect everyone. We're getting to connect with a lot of our friends that we interact with on Twitter sometimes, so we get to have them come on here and kind of tell a little bit about themselves because we'll see the chats and stuff like that, but you really get to know each other. So speaking of really great guests, Carla, would you do the honors of introducing our guest this evening?
Of course. What can I say about Miss Jamie? First of all, I just want to say that I was really lucky enough to talk to you, Miss Jamie, for a bit before tonight's podcast at Unwinding Friendsgiving with Wolf. So that was really, really amazing. And this is such a wonderful way for us women to connect. I love it. Jamie, your bio is filled with interesting stories from basketball mom to soccer mom to baseball mom and flag football mom to a lover of all things fantasy football.
Mhm.
And I can't wait to dig deep into your stories tonight. How are you, Jamie? Tell us a little
I'm
bit about.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me on, ladies. I'm nervous. I'm sorry, but
Oh
thanks for
no,
having
this
me.
is. You know what? We're nervous too, but we've got our friends in the chat that are hopping
Mhm.
on. Thank you everybody for
Yep.
coming. And Jamie, first of all, I have to say I loved reading your bio. When I asked you for a bio a couple weeks ago, you're like, I don't know what I'm going to write. I don't know anything interesting. I don't know. Girl, you killed it. Okay. I was reading that bio and I was just like literally, and I know Carla and I talked about this. I mean, literally, like our jaw dropped to the floor. If you think you're not interesting, you are very, very incorrect. Um, so I have to do this real quick. I have to read because this is how this touched me. I was just like, wow, this reads like a book. So I'm just going to read the first paragraph real quick and then we're going to move on. So, born and raised in Massachusetts, grew up in Amesbury, Massachusetts with my dad and two younger siblings. Spent many summers in Maine camping, hiking, swimming, and panning for gold, and then later visiting with my mom in Maine after my parents divorced. This was back in the 80s and 90s when cell phones did not exist the way that they do now, and you made sure to be home by the time the streetlights were on. Back in my younger days, I disliked football so much. I remember my uncle would come over on Sundays and it was football all day on the TV. I would count down until it was time for the Disney Sunday movie of the week. This is like me. I remember sitting there thinking, how can 10 minutes of football last an hour? Back then, we had one TV in the house, and football made me dread Sundays. My, how things have
They have
changed.
a little bit.
I was just reading it and I was just felt like it took me back to when I was growing up, and it was just that was just the neatest story, and your whole bio read like that. I know you took the time, to
Mhm.
do that, and we really appreciate it. And we're going to move on. I'm going to let Carla ask these first questions because we're just dying to talk to you.
The only thing didn't change that the 10 minutes is still an
I
hour in
was gonna
football.
say that. Yes.
It didn't change, Jamie. It's still the same.
Yep.
So what I want to ask at first, what because we didn't talk a lot in the 11 episodes, um and it's really interesting to me. It's about the LGBTQ plus
Mhm.
community. I really want to learn more about it from you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got obviously a vested interest, one, because I'm a human being and I want all of us to all get along with everybody, and care about somebody's, preferences or what. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with me not wanting to like someone because of whom they love or who they choose to be. Um, my mom growing up, my parents ended up divorcing. Turns out she was a lesbian. She's now married to a wonderful woman. So I've got two moms, love them both. They're coming for Thanksgiving. And my best friend since high school is also gay. So for me, it's always been in my life since I was younger, since probably before it was anything that anyone really even talked about. Like I look at my mom coming out in the 80s, and I'm sure that was one of the hardest things she ever had to go through and do and endure. And I remember 8th grade dating a boy and being so nervous to tell him, so that by the time I got to high school, I was like, I don't want other people to feel this way. I want people to understand this community and accept everybody. So in high school, I was in a peer leadership program where we would have, certain nights where people could kind of get together and have a safe space to talk about their feelings, talk about what they're going through. It also leads into, I know you're big, Carla, on mental health. It plays a big piece of that and giving that support to the community. So it's just kind of something that, has always been big in my life and my world, obviously for close relations, as well as just, hopefully that everyone, can be accepted for who they are, who they want to be with. And that's just kind of, where I've gone. Peer leadership, we would do kind of talks to the school. Again, it's not my thing, but I would get so nervous, but I'd do it because it was for the better good, to express and open other people's eyes to everything. And so that's kind of how that, came to be. There was a TV show on a local channel back probably in the 90s because I was in high school, where it was called Wraparound, and they would do social issues, once a week. And I actually got chosen through the peer leadership program to go on that, and kind of talk about, my mom at the time and the family dynamic and all of that. So it's just been something that's just been big in my life, pretty much my whole life. So, and it's obviously important to me, not only for personal reasons, but for just everyone in general.
And what do you think about what's going on right now, especially that have the state is failing to offer basic protection for
I
the
mean,
LGBTQ community?
yeah, it's just it's awful. It's inhumane to put it in one way. I mean, I don't know why people can't be with whom they want to be. Why do we care? I don't know what's going on behind your doors. I'm not sitting in your bedroom. I'm not sitting wherever worried about, anything. I just want to be happy, and people want to be happy. My best friend Sean, every year we do a shopping trip for Christmas. So we'll go in like November, December. We go to Dave and Buster's, and then we go shopping for Christmas presents, usually for ourselves. Surprise ourselves, like, but we'll
You need
go
to add it to the list
yeah, do a day together. And one year when we went, we would drive down to Providence, Rhode Island. And I remember one of the times we went, there actually was a march on the state house, in regards to, rights for being able to just get married, for same-sex couples to get married. So we went and joined that march and,
Nice.
said, forget the mall, this is more important. We went over, joined that. They wanted us to sign some of their petitions, but we weren't state residents. But, we were at least there to support. And it's scary, because
It
I've
is.
got 3 young kids. I don't know what the world's gonna, turn into down the road, but I'm gonna try to do my best to lead by example to them. And hopefully, we can foster a more loving environment to everyone and accepting.
I mean, I live in Connecticut, and we
Mhm.
are lucky that the state have a
Yeah,
protection for the LGBTQ community,
yeah.
and I'm part of it. And I have a lot of friends that I'm part of their community, and I love them so much.
Mhm.
One
Yeah.
more question for you for that. Did you know that in some countries, if you are part of the LGBTQ community, you are either they either kill you or you go to
Yeah.
jail. You heard
It's
about that?
yeah, and I see these stories and it's devastating. It just kills me to know that that we think that less of somebody, a human being, that we would do that. It's maddening, beyond maddening. But then that's again why I try to.
Then we have people like you that are advocating and saying, hey, this is okay. If you're a good person, none of that other stuff
Yep.
matters,
Correct.
and that we're just so lucky to have people like you, to help everyone and bring everyone together. And that's kind of why I got in with the sports affiliation, because they were so inclusive of everyone,
Yes.
women, it doesn't matter, if you are into fantasy football and fantasy sports and you're a good person, you're going to be in a nice community here. So thank you for that. And I noticed that you did mention your kids. So, and you said it was okay to talk about the kids. So your kids are 12, 9, and 5, right?
Yes. Yep. Going on 20, but yes.
That never changes either. Nope. Mine's 25, and trust me, oh, good Lord. So I thought the cool story that I would like you to talk about a little bit is how you got married to your longtime partner.
Yes. So
tell us about that.
We'll dial it back where I met him the old school way at a bar. They say it never works out when you meet a guy at the bar. I'm glad I didn't have to do dating apps. I'd never know if I'm swiping left, right, up, down, or turning in a circle. So I'm like, So I was out, at the bar and met him. I was out with a group of friends, someone that I worked with, and she was probably 6 or 7 years younger than me. She took me out with her friends, and up he comes, and I didn't really know that he knew the group as well as he did. So I was like, all right, okay, kind of flirting throughout the night and everything. I won't tell you my pickup lines. They're probably not safe for here. And then I didn't see him for like a year. And I didn't realize that the girl I was with that night, that she played darts with him. She knew him very well. I was like, if I knew that you knew these people and you weren't some crazy guy. So we ended up, she went to lunch one day, and this is before phones were like, locked with like your fingerprint, whatever. She left her, little flip phone at her desk, and I was like, forget this. And I went and found his name and number and started texting him. So fast forward, several years, we finally start officially dating, living together, have kids, all of that. Got engaged. We were engaged for 8 years, but couldn't decide how we wanted to get married. Big wedding, small wedding. I'm like, well, we got the kids. I don't, we could go to Disneyland for what you're gonna, spend on a wedding. So last December, we went out to Vegas and ended up going to the Patriots Raiders game.
Because you're a Patriots fan, right?
Yes, I am. Yep. So I live in New Hampshire. I'm in New England. So we went out to the Patriots Raiders game. And that Saturday we were out there, we were walking the strip and decided, you know what, if we can find rings, let's go get married this weekend. But we had no plans to actually get married while we were out there. We went and found rings that actually fit right out of the store. And went down, got the marriage license, called the Chapel of the Flowers, I believe it was. And they put us on the books for the next evening, right after the game. They picked us up at the, Mandalay Bay, I think, maybe. Picked us up right from the hotel in a limo, took us off with our friends. We went right from the game in our jerseys to get married. It was maybe like 30 degrees out, and they're all bundled up. The people working, they're all bundled up in jackets because we chose the outdoor gazebo. And they're like, well, we'll give you a free upgrade if you want to use the indoor chapel. And we're like it's really cold because literally we're just in jerseys with like a long sleeve under. I'm like, we're from New England, we're good. We don't need your indoor chapel. We wanted this one.
We're no wimps.
Yeah. So it was.
So it's just kind of like spur of the moment. You're like, hey, we've been together for 12 years and we're getting married. Yep. Who won the game?
The Raiders.
Oh,
whoops!
That never happens. Are you serious?
But you won
the day. Yeah, we won the day.
All right, that's fair enough. By
the way, we are neighbors, you and I, Jamie.
I know we are. I got the email today, and I was like, oh, I'm like, she's that close.
No, I work at like closer to you, but I live in Farmington.
Oh goodness, yeah.
So like, how far apart? How far apart are you guys?
New Hampshire and I were like 45 minutes.
You're kidding.
Yeah,
well, come on. I see a lunch happening at some point.
Definitely.
I
The
worked
game
down-
changers
worked down
bringing
in
people
Reading.
together.
Yeah.
The game changers bringing
Yeah.
the people together.
I
I
agree.
work in Reading, Massachusetts, so I'm even closer when I'm working, I'm sure. Yeah.
Nice.
We should
Well,
get together.
yeah.
Yes.
So how do you manage working? Which I know what you do, and we're going to talk
Mhm.
about that later.
Yep.
But I know your kids are all in the sports, like Carla mentioned at the beginning
Yeah.
of the show. Like, how do
Yeah.
you do this? Plus all your
Luckily,
fantasy stuff.
luckily, my husband works from home, so he's like their taxi driver. I feel kind of bad, and like I'll meet them somewhere after. So he's been
Yeah.
really good, supportive. That my job, I can't work from home usually. He does, so he's kind of the one who runs them around after school to their practices and stuff. And we'll kind of switch off if I've got to pick one up. Baseball games, if they were certain times, especially towards playoffs, I'm like, no, I got to leave work, got to use PTO. Like, I can't miss my kid's game. I'm like, wicked. I've been invested in baseball since it was T-ball, and now he's into, graduating from the little league at almost 13. So I'm like, I'm not missing these games. So
Yeah. Yeah. You got some time and money
he's the
invested there, right?
Yep. So now they're into travel soccer, travel basketball, travel baseball. We're running all over the place, but they enjoy
I
it.
was that
So,
mom. I
yep.
was that mom. They grow up so
Yeah.
fast. I was a swim mom my whole life.
Yeah.
I became a swimming official, Jamie, because of that.
Oh,
To stick
nice.
with them. Yep.
Yeah.
To stick
He's
with them.
coached them. Like he's coached soccer,
Yes.
he's coached baseball. I would not be able to do that. I wouldn't even know what to
Yeah.
do. But he's been so great, so supportive. So we work. It works out. It's a
That's
nice
That's
awesome.
balance.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. So we have an interesting story as well to share. Learning about your bio, and I would love to talk about that as well. Do you want to share a little bit at what age you were adopted?
Yep. So I was actually just an infant. I was probably weeks old, maybe a month or two. Um, and I thought I had some street cred because I was born in Dorchester, Massachusetts. So I was like, oh, I got some street cred. I don't. I found out I found out where my biological parents are from, and I'm like, oh, it's a very quiet town. Here goes my street cred.
I would stick with that story though, for
Right?
real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, hi, Scott. Sorry.
Yeah. Your family members in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
house there.
I got to
Yeah.
meet Scott when I was out in Vegas too. So
Oh my
we literally
gosh, how
left from
cool.
getting married, went back to the hotel, and he was watching a Giants game
Oh
at
my
the hotel we were
gosh.
at. Yep. So I got to meet Scott and his friend Penny, which was awesome. So
Nice.
good time. Yeah.
That is super cool. Well, a little bit more. I know Carla's got some more questions about,
Oh,
your
back to my adoption. Sorry. Yeah. That
yeah.
was
Well, no, because this whole story is so interesting, and it's part of who you are. So, I know you had said that you have a brother and a sister that are both
yes.
also adopted,
Yep,
correct?
we're all adopted. Yep. So my sister's from South Korea, and my brother's from El Salvador.
Oh
So,
my
which
goodness.
yeah, his story as far as family and stuff is not as happy as what I've found about mine, which I feel terrible about. But El Salvador's a rough country, so
Yeah.
like he's lucky, to be alive and be loved. So yeah,
He's lucky to
So
have your
not to be a
sister
downer.
too.
yeah. So do you guys
Yeah,
see each
yeah.
other? Do you get to see each other ever?
Oh yeah. Yep, yep, they're coming over for Thanksgiving. So
Okay.
my
Okay. That's
sister
right.
had, my sister used to live with me for a little while. She's up in Rochester. My brother lives down the road in Massachusetts, and he'll come by and see my kids and hang out with them, play
Aw.
basketball, football, and yeah. So we
Awesome.
see them quite frequently. Yeah, even though we're all grown. Yep.
That's
Well,
really awesome.
yeah, and the whole 23andMe thing.
Yes.
My daughter did that. Just she just was interested, and I was super. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and do it. So she got all the stuff, but
Mhm.
your story was a
Mhm.
little bit more interesting.
Yep.
So can you kind of tell us about that?
Yep. So, and the reason I ended up doing it is probably maybe in the early 2000s. I tried reaching out to the agency I was adopted through. And then they told me to reach out to the hospital, see if there were any records, to see if there was anything that could be opened up, or, any information. That was a dead end. And so my friend, who actually is also the reason that I met my husband, she talked me into doing like that 23andMe. And I was like, I don't know, maybe. And I kind of want to know, more about my background a little bit, just because at this point now I've got children. I want to make sure there's nothing I should be worried
Like
about.
medical history
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
So I ended up, doing the 23andMe, and for a year, nothing really popped. Just told me, you're British, Irish, French, and German, Norwegian, and Portuguese, or something like that. I was like, all right, well, it's on point with being told I was French and Irish. Okay. And then about a year in, all of a sudden, there's an aunt connection. I was like, oh, like they were all like, fourth, fifth cousins, and
So do you just
nothing
get
really
like, do you get
close.
like an email or something if there's
Yep.
a match?
Yep. So I'll get a notification every once in a while. You've got, 10 new relatives or something. So
Okay.
I'd look, and all of a sudden one popped up saying it was an aunt. And I was like, So I sat on it for probably almost a year, because at this point I'm like, well, I want to know, but like people are, it's been, almost 40 years now. Like, I don't want to mess up somebody's life. Who knows if they've told their family, like, so I ended up reaching out to her, just saying, I'm not trying to, stir things up or whatever. I'm just interested in medical history. I've got young children. I just kind of want to know, is there anything that I should be worried about, et cetera. The next thing I know, she's like, well, my brother's your father.
Wow.
Would you, I've reached out to him. He is super excited. Would you like me to put you into contact with him? And I was like, well, absolutely. So we started talking through email, what my life was like growing up, what, his family. He's one of 12 children,
Wow.
from a neighboring town in which I grew up. And they were 16, 17 when I was born. So I'm just thankful I was born, to a 16-year-old,
Right.
girl at that
Right.
point. That they loved me enough to put me into a home where they knew they couldn't take care of me. I had a great
Yes.
family, great support, growing up, great childhood, all kinds of fun memories. Except for Sundays on football. That's changed now. Now I do it to my kids.
You ended up falling in love with it, though.
Yep. So we, we were talking, and I found out, he basically worked in the town I grew up in for 20 years. I was like, you can't even
Like,
imagine how close
was
you
your
are.
mind blown
Yes.
when this
Yep.
was all
Yep.
happening? Because
Yep.
mine is blown listening
Yep.
to the story. Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
I
Yeah.
have
So I still
goosebumps.
have to
It's
meet him.
crazy.
Like, it's been a few years, and I still want to meet him. I just, for some reason, I'm still a little nervous, but I need
Yeah.
to get the ugly cry out, and we need to meet, and then I'll, pop back and let you guys know how that
Oh,
goes.
yes.
Um,
Oh,
and
please.
so, it's been great. I've got, a half sister, half brother that have been supportive. We all, chit chat on Facebook and everything like that. So it's been a really positive experience. My parents were open to, I told them about it first, and they just say they just want to thank this man for giving,
Yeah.
giving me to them,
So
Oh,
you
so
don't know both parents, you just know
I don't,
one.
just him. And he knows obviously who she is. She isn't ready to meet me, and that's fine. And if she never is, I mean, I'll never think anything ill of her, because she gave me
she
the
still
greatest
did the
gift she
right
could,
thing.
you know? So, and I can't, as a mom, I can't imagine what you'd have to bottle up and pack away to
Yeah.
not have to think about that every day, that I could never judge anyone or feel ill will at all. So if I ever do, I do. If I don't, it's not gonna bother me, like
You're at
on that
peace.
level. Yeah,
You're at
yeah.
peace with that.
Yeah, they did, they were able to see me when I was first born. They did hold me,
Yes.
briefly. And all the stories matched up to where my mom was like, oh, the only thing we know is your mom's allergic to penicillin, and they called you Jennifer, when you were born.
Yes,
in
I wanted to
hospital.
ask that.
And so he said, we named you Jennifer. So I
Oh,
knew, without a doubt, I'm talking to the right, the right person. So plus I've seen
oh.
photos of my grandmother, and I'm like, oh, where those eyebrows come from?
Well, so your mom was
Mhm.
unable to have children, which is why
Yes.
they adopted.
Yep.
How has that molded your career? Like I know you have a career that
Yep.
is focused towards that.
Yep. So, through high school, I worked at Walgreens, and then they kind of threw me in the pharmacy one day. So, now I'm a pharmacy technician. Did the retail pharmacy gig for a few years, and one day I saw an ad in the paper for this specialty pharmacy just down the road for infertility medications, and I was like, oh, I don't know if am I smart enough to do this? I don't know. So I went and applied. They ended up hiring me like on the spot. And it's just, talking with these patients, knowing what they're going through, knowing, what my mom personally went through, knowing she couldn't have children. It just opened up this whole world to me. And it was a job that even though I might have worked 60 hours a week, I might have been bone dead tired at the end of the day, it felt fulfilling. It was a fulfilling, rewarding job because I knew I was helping someone create a family. Um, Fast forward, about 14 years later, I worked there for 10 years, went into medical billing, and then ended up the old owner of the pharmacy was now a CEO at a fertility clinic in Massachusetts. And they were looking for a manager for the insurance and billing department. Gave me a call. I went in and interviewed, and I've been there for 7 years now. And again, talking with these patients, helping them through, navigating their insurance or answering questions, or just sometimes just being an ear for them to talk to. Sometimes they just need to feel that empathy from someone and feel that somebody's listening to them. And at the end of the day, even though again, I'm tired, I've had a busy day, I still feel more rewarded at the end of that day than any other jobs I've had. So,
Wow. You are exactly where you need to be because talking about it the way you just talked about it, the passion, the caring that you have, that you are exactly where you need to be, Jamie.
yeah, I feel the
I
same.
agree with
It's
you, Wendy.
just it feels like a calling,
Yes.
and
Yes.
just kind of it's just what
And
I want to do.
not everybody finds that. Not everyone
Yeah.
finds the job that they love to go to and can talk so passionately about.
Mhm.
So, here we go. Game changer again,
That's amazing.
Carla.
Yeah. So being a Patriot a fan, I want to ask you, did you watch 84 Brady?
I did. I watched it maybe 2 or 3 times, which I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan. I mean, I love the Super Bowls. I'm not gonna say that, the Super Bowl wins weren't great and that the winning seasons weren't great. I loved him for that.
Yeah.
I'm just not a huge Brady fan, like,
Yes.
not my cup of
But
tea on that level, but,
not
it was
everyone is.
hysterical.
But how
Yes,
about
I thought it
the
was
movie?
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Did
good
you
I
see
movie.
it?
still haven't seen it. And I
Oh,
have the biggest crush on
Really?
this guy.
They
Here's the thing.
episode.
I have stuff that says Mrs. Tom Brady on it. I mean, I'm like all over that. Okay, and I still have not watched that movie.
for me, it's Peyton Manning or Kirk Cousins. I love
Nice.
Kirk Cousins, and I love Peyton Manning. Um,
Yeah.
and funny story is that I would always call myself Mrs. Manning, and
Really?
I wrote I and when I left one of my other jobs before coming, like the job that I was at before where I am now, one of the gentlemen I worked with would do football squares. I'm like, well, I still went in on the football square, so I would mail him a check for the football squares, and I would address it from Mrs.
Mrs.
Manning.
Manning.
Fast forward to find out my biological father's last name is Manning. I'm
Oh,
like,
shut the
you
front
can't make
door! Are
that
you
up.
kidding
I
me?
can't.
You're
Yep,
kidding.
yeah,
You're meant to be, Jamie. Look
yeah.
at that.
I'm like, I just hope we're not related because I have a crush
Oh
on him.
my God. That's amazing.
Yes.
I can't.
Well, I live in Indiana, but I was never a Colts fan.
Mhm.
I'm a Dolphins fan, and I live really close to Chicago, actually.
Yeah.
So I kind of follow the Bears second. But my grandma, rest her soul, she loved Peyton Manning. Like that was her guy. Yep,
Mhm.
she absolutely loved him. So that's cool that you brought that up.
Yeah.
So I
I
guess.
have this jersey
Oh,
I have
hey.
this
just
jersey
because of my kid.
and a signed helmet that I got for Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
That's
Oh, that's a
Valentine's.
nice
I'm
gift.
telling you, he knows me. He
I
knows
guess
yeah,
so.
straight in my heart
That's so
through
cool.
another man's hand signature.
Hey, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Do you have any ritual, Jamie?
I
Watching
don't.
the movie?
Yeah, I don't really, although my oldest reminded me of, I don't know how many years ago it was, during one of the Super Bowls where he had his foot up on me or something. I was holding it, and I think it might have been the Falcons game where they were coming back, and I made him sit there, held his foot the entire rest of the game until they won. And he reminded me of that the other day. I'm like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "Yeah, you did." I'm like, "Yeah, I did."
Yeah,
Yep.
That's
it's true.
awesome.
I
But
did
other
it.
than that, no real rituals other than trying to get my food shopping done first, so then I can listen to Coop and Howard on the radio. So I've got my little shows I'll listen to along the way to get me ready. Make sure I'm not missing any lineup changes or any smart DFS plays, although that's not really the thing I'm the best at right now.
Oh
But I try.
man.
I'm learning. I'm
I
trying to
think I
stay
came
on
in
toe.
last place this week in that little one that you guys are all
Even
in.
me,
Oh, it's so
which
bad.
Omaha is in my username. Okay, Peyton. Thank
Okay.
you. Omaha.
I just must not have known it was you because, well, everyone was ahead of me, so who knew?
Yeah.
But so we do kind of have to talk about the football a little bit, the
Yeah.
foosball.
Mhm.
So when did you first start playing?
2014 is when I first started dabbling in, and I got invited into my husband's one of his home league. So it was a group of guys that we played darts with, some of them, and they had someone that was leaving, and I had kind of taken an interest in his leagues. I'm like, oh, what is this? What's this all about? Kind of checking out what he was doing, and I was like, oh, this is kind of interested. I tried like a free one on Yahoo, and then I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm doing great." And he's like, "Because nobody's playing in those. It's like a robot." I'm like, "Whatever." So they invited me in, and the first year I think I probably came in last, but it's a learning curve. However, I
Yes.
was excited that I got to draft Antonio Brown because that was like during his heyday of being like stellar. And then, I think it was 2016. I ended up winning their league
Ooh.
and still trying to climb my way back since then. But pretty much that first year kind of opened up and created the monster that is now. Because then every year I've added more and more leagues. Um, and at some point I'm going to have to say no. But then you've got different charity leagues, everything else. I can't say no.
I know it's so
It's
hard.
hard.
At least a lot of the charity ones I've noticed are usually best ball,
Yes,
so
that's
you
helpful.
don't have to manage them. And I mean, I'll play in those. There's no limit to those. I'll play in
Yeah,
those all the time.
yeah.
But so in 2018, I think is when you kind of took a headfirst dive into Twitter,
I did.
um,
Yeah,
and you were kind of following none other than Howard Bender.
of course. Yes. Yeah, I would followed a few people. I would listen to his. I lucked out where like either his time changed or my work hours changed, where I was able to listen to the Fantasy Alarm Show on Sirius in the evenings on my drive home. And I'm like I like these guys. Like they're fun. Like it's a different show than some of the other shows. They're more interested in, it seems like, helping people and more interested in talking with people and being just like an open conversation, versus just let me give you the statistics on what I think this person's going to do this
Yes.
week.
Yep.
And they play off each other so well. So it like drew me in where I was even listening during like baseball season, and I don't even really care for, fantasy baseball, but they're fun. And so I started like, I'd tweet somebody, a question or whatever. He was the only one that would ever always
I know he
answer back.
always answers.
And then
Always.
him and I think it was Brandon Lee had a show on Sunday mornings, like that was on YouTube or something, or something like that. I think it was YouTube is where I watched them, and like I'd start conversing through there. And I think I really kind of got myself noticed when we were talking about food. And the question was, what's better, waffles or pancakes? And I was like, a French toast hoagie. And they're like, what? And so I had to explain my French toast hoagie that I created while we were camping one time. And that just kind of got me in and got me noticed. And then
Howard will probably tell you he loves food. Who
yep,
doesn't?
yep. He's like, I need the recipe, I need pictures. So Twitter, it kind of blew up on Twitter from there, just, interacting a lot with Howard, with, some of the other Fantasy Alarm members. And now I'm in some of their leagues now. So like full-fledged family now.
Well,
And it
yeah.
really is like a family. Like it really
Yes.
is.
I know
Yeah.
we play in the one
Yes.
family league, and I think you're in my division.
You're at the top.
I
Look down at
am.
the bottom. You'll find me at the bottom.
I
Oh,
am at the
last
top.
year
I
I
don't
got
know
to
how
the
it happened.
last year I got to the championship match. This year, oh hi Ann. This year, nope. I'm like at the bottom.
Well,
So
I
many
see that
injuries.
Anne has entered the chat, and you actually brought her name up because you're in a league with
Yes.
Howard with the man smart, women smarter,
Smarter. Yep. Yeah.
and
So he had created a league of listeners and a couple analysts. So we've got like Jen Piacenti in there, which she just beat me this week. Yeah. And I've got Anne.
she acts so
Ann
nice and
Angie.
everything, you
Yeah.
know, that Jen.
Anne and Angie are ones that I talk to like on the regular. And Anne and myself also do those better casts on the primetime games, which are super fun. Anyone, if you're not doing that, you should get in and do it. I think Howard was talking about it tonight. They're gonna have Scott
I've
Fishman
not done
on.
that. I need to do that.
You do. So
Carla,
much
we
fun.
need to do that.
There's
Yeah.
chatting, like we've got a whole crew. There's chatting, you can answer questions, try to win tickets.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's a whole lot of fun. It makes the game, even if the game's like, it makes it so much more fun.
Yeah.
Well, and Anne won that twice, right?
Yeah, I believe Anne, you won twice. I came in second once.
That's
But these women are sharks. We've got
Yeah.
Erica Charisse Hope Myers. We've got Howard's wife Deb. We've got Ann Dunn. We have Jen, Cheyenne. We've got so many great women, and we have like a Twitter chat, whatever, for the group, and it's going all year long, whether
Oh,
football's on
that's
or
so
not.
cool.
Sharing news of getting married, getting engaged, anything great going on. If something sad's going on, you need some support. Like these women rock, and they are just so solid and awesome that I am so thankful that Howard ever pulled me
I
in.
was just going to say, you know
Like,
what? Howard Bender knows what he's doing. He
does.
knows how to put the people together that belong together.
Does. Yes.
Kind of like Greg Kellogg did with Carla and I.
Yeah.
It's like these guys just know, these OGs just know the right combination.
Yeah, such a great group of women. Like, and we're all supportive. We're asking each other questions all week. Ad drops and DFS questions. We do a weekly DFS that like we invited you into this past week. So we keep it going.
All you're doing is taking my money, okay? Like it's just a donation every week.
Second twice all season. So it's been a rough. No games are going like they're supposed to.
No.
Nope. Somebody's tilting it somewhere. I don't know how.
My teams are pretty much all bad. I can't believe I'm in first place in the one, but that's it. I mean, everything else is not so great.
Yeah, my Scott Fishbowl this year. Oof.
Oh yeah, painful.
My husband.
Although you know what,
in the playoffs, not me.
he is. He made the playoffs.
In the
That's
Jelly Belly
awesome.
division. Yep.
Did Doug make the playoffs, Carla?
I don't know yet.
Oh, you have to find. The people want to know. Meaning me, I want to know.
I will text him and ask him. I'll ask him when you're talking to Jamie, and I'll tell you.
Yeah. There's no such thing as playoffs for me with the Scott Fishbowl.
I mean, there's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that's not making the playoffs. We were talking about it this week. And what's going on? Like even KC yesterday didn't show up. Like it didn't show up. Like what happened? I was like, are you kidding me? I'm a KC fan. I did not like that. I didn't like the game yesterday. I'm like, nope, don't talk to me. So
I may have passed out a little towards the end. I was like, I see where this is going.
I don't know what happened yesterday.
Yeah. Well, Ann's got a
say it, Wendi.
Yeah, I agree. Like Howard was one of the first ones I would listen to. Also, well, truthfully, it was my bestie Bob Harris, but Howard was in the afternoon, Bob was in the morning. But I heard you. We were talking about the Scott Fishbowl, and you were in the Scott Fishbowl 11. Was your first year? Okay,
yes.
Was that a live draft?
No, I haven't. I've been too nervous to do a live draft.
Oh no, you need to do that.
Well, they're
Where's the
usually in like the
closest one?
Boston area, and I am not a
Oh,
city girl. I
no,
cannot
you know what?
find
You're
nothing.
gonna go draft with Coop. Are you kidding me?
I know. Anne would probably trade places with me in a second.
Oh yeah, that would be
Yeah.
awesome. So did you make the playoffs before though?
I
Besides this
made
year?
last year. I made it to almost, I think, through the first 2 rounds of playoffs, and then my team
Dang.
just kind of fizzled out. But yeah, the first year, and I'm actually still like, from the first year I was in it. I was in it was a music. It was like music themed, and I was in the NSYNC division. Please don't judge, but I love me some NSYNC.
I love Instinct.
And we actually ended up creating our own T-shirt for the Scott Fish Bowl. We were like throwing out ideas, and I was thinking about the the little marionette phase they did, and so I drew like the Scott Fish, or no, I drew SFB 11 with little like strings coming down with footballs that said bye 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 weeks, like a play on their bye bye bye, and a gentleman that is also very supportive still to this day on Facebook, Pierre Wilson. He's been, a great supporter and still stays in touch. He seems like a genuinely great guy. And, the things I see him post on Twitter, he knew somebody like into graphic arts and stuff. So she took my really rough drawing, because I am not an artist, put it, put it to paper, or probably her computer. Came up with a nice design for us, and we had the shirts. They printed up the shirts for us, so it was great. It's like a nice team effort, and still some of them, from back then, we still interact on Twitter, and little shout outs and stuff. So it's been very nice to like meet all kinds of people, but to still stay in contact through the years. So it's not just hi, how are you, blah blah, off you go. It's we've been in contact. Last year I was in it, and I was in the Shire division because I might like the Lord of the Rings a little bit. So again, meeting some great people and stuff. This year I'm actually in the same division as Hope Myers. So
nice.
it's the Mellow Yellow division together. I
Okay.
believe she's made the playoffs, me much. So one of us is representing Fantasy Alarm from our division. So
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, see, Ann says you're going to go to the live draft next year. And Hope's organized. Oh, the football expo. You've never gone to the expo?
And Hope was supposed to do recon so that we could all go to the expo. I haven't, no. So, and I told my husband, I said, I know it's like over your birthday, but I need to go. Yeah. Need to go.
You should go. You should go next year, and we're doing Zumba next year, Jamie. So you have to go.
Let me practice that.
Well, I'm going to tell you,
too. So
I will do a flash mob of Zumba.
Yeah.
So Doug said no. Too many injuries.
Oh, well, now I don't feel so bad. Doug Orst didn't make the playoffs, so I guess since Wendi Carla didn't make the playoffs, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, he did it this year. He was saying too many injuries this year.
There was crazy. A lot of injuries. You got to give him that. That's true.
Yeah.
But with the expo and the Scott Fish Bowl, I think those are two of the biggest things of bringing the people together. It's like I wouldn't have met anybody in any of this. Any of our guests that have come on. JC didn't make it. I'm sorry, best friend. Maybe there's always next year. But I know, like with you was mentioned that you're a sucker for the charities, and so am I. Nobody tops it other than Scott Frankel, though. I've never seen somebody play in so many leagues.
He has spreadsheets, I hear, of spreadsheets. I'm like, there's all these players, and
he's not here, so we can say this now. He's not right in the head, okay? You know what, though? I do have to give him a shout out. I was looking for the Starbucks cup. I don't know if you guys saw me put it on Twitter the other day. He found it, and he mailed it to me. I mean, how cool is that? So, is it something that I had to have? No, it's not, but I wanted it. And I have a problem with Starbucks cups. And now I have it, and I get to look at it, and I get to think of Scott. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. And 75 leagues. I'm pretty sure he's I thought it was 10. I recounted. It's actually 11 where I have to change my lineups every week. I'm like, this is too much. So I'll do charity for best balls. line them up.
Yeah.
I do my activities in Zumba, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Leagues that have to change the lineup. I might have to drop back a little bit. But I'm not leaving the Man Smart, Woman Smarter, or the family leagues. I'm gonna have to get out of some of these random ESPN leagues the husbands dragged me into over the years. I don't even know these people.
Well, in the Battle of the Sexes, you're going to play in that next year, right?
I'm in it this year.
And yeah, and as I said, you're going to play in it next year, and we're going to get Carla. Carla's going to play in it next year too.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Not it yet. I don't know.
I'm currently slipping out of the top 10 as the weeks go on because
I think I've lost 3 or 4 games in a row or something.
Well,
and
I'm down to 1 quarterback in a super flex league. Yeah. And so I'm down to just 2. I lost Kirk. So next year I'm drafting. I don't care if it's 10 quarterbacks. I'm gonna just take them all. I don't care.
You're gonna be a quarterback hoarder.
Yes. Yep.
Jamie, because
next it'll be the tight ends that are all going down or something. Yeah. I don't know.
We're talking a little bit about fundraising. I know it's because you live close by. I would love if you can come for a fundraising or a fundraiser we're doing soon. We're doing it in Cromwell, and we're doing Operation Elf for the soldiers that they are for children of deployed and financially affected soldiers. So if you're interested, it's going to be in New England Athletic Club in Cromwell. Just let me know. I can send you the information, or I can post it on Twitter. It's going to be like 40 minutes away from me. That would be really cool to meet you there. It's going to be really cool. Yeah. It's gonna be really
definitely share that, so
I do a lot of this. Yeah, I would.
You never know how close someone is. Who knew you guys even lived as close as you do? So that's super awesome. And that's another thing with the community. As a matter of fact, you guys, we were all in the women. Let's give Tootsie Pop a shout out because she's organizing the Women of Fantasy Football, the Friendsgiving that she did, and we're going to start doing them maybe once or twice a month. And we were in that the other night, and we were all there, all 3 of us. It was so great. And Erica had said something, but her mic cut out, so I didn't get to hear what she said, but she messaged me later. And she said, "What town are you from?" And I told her, because I'm in a pretty small town in Indiana, and I had mentioned that. And I told her, and she's like, "Dude, I lived in 8 years, I lived in a town that's just like 15 minutes from me."
Oh, wow.
And she's like, "I know exactly where you live." And she goes, "And I'm coming up there to visit some family members in May, and we're going to get together."
Nice.
See? That's awesome.
We're going to have a lunch or a dinner or drinks. All I know is I'm going to meet Erica that day, so
I'm going to meet Jaime soon.
Yeah, so that's, like I said, that's just another thing that, this community has done. And it kind of got brought up in that thing with Rachel the other night. But, I have a very small immediate family. I'm not trying to, be rude, but everyone's gone. My parents, my husband's parents, my grandparents, his grandparents. We don't have a lot of, really close family. I have my brother and stuff. So you guys are really like my family. Like Carla has been my sister. Okay. She has helped me through a lot. And I've connected with Jamie on so many different leagues and stuff. So I really do feel that there's so much better, in the community. I know we see some bad stuff, but on the large scale, I would say, this has been such a positive experience. How do you feel about that?
I've been fortunate enough that I haven't had, any negative experiences, but, I'm also not out there creating the content where I think that sometimes you're more kind of in view of somebody who just wants to be nasty or get noticed. But I've, everyone that I've come into contact with through Scott Fish, through, Howard and the Fantasy Alarm family, through just Twitter in general and some of the other leagues that I've done, like everybody's been so welcoming. Like everyone cheers on everyone else except maybe the week you're head to head with them. Howard tried to talk a little smack when we were starting to get ready for the Battle of the Sexes. But I'm pretty sure at least I'm in the top 10. No, just kidding. Love you, Howard.
Yeah. I don't think his team is doing very well.
But so I've had a very good experience where nobody's really ever been negative down to me. Everyone's just been so welcoming. Michael from the Fantasy Alarm
Yes.
Family League we're in, reaching
Yes.
out and saying, "Hey, I noticed you interact with Howard. We thought you'd be a great fit." Pulling me in last year to that, and again for this year. So I'm just been very thankful to everyone that's kind of included me or shouted out on Twitter or anything like that. It's been
Nice.
a great experience.
But I think that has a lot to do with your involvement, with the community. You're in all the charity leagues. You're very positive. You're always commenting. I see you in the chat, even though I'm not in your division. I can see. Oh wait, I am in your
No, you are.
division. Yeah, but I
Yep.
can see all the
Yeah.
chats.
Yeah.
So it's like I can go in, and everybody's just been so nice and so welcoming, and that's why you have to go to the expo. You have to go to the expo.
You have
I
to.
know. I keep telling Hubby, I'm like, I'm going. I'm sorry. It's gonna happen. You can come
Yes.
too, but I have to go. I'm like, I have to meet my ladies.
Yes, this year is gonna be really amazing. And like we were
Yeah.
talking with Unwind with Wolf, we're gonna start
Yeah.
with the t-shirt and we're gonna like take it over and we're gonna all like be with the t-shirt at the expo. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait this year.
Hey,
And Dr.
somebody's got to
Wendy. We're gonna go. I can't.
somebody's got to get Hope to make the T-shirt. Did you talk to Hope
Yes.
yet? Oh, you're on it.
Tutsi and I were talking, and next time, hopefully, Hope will be on in the show, so we will talk about that, and we're gonna start. Like at least she will know what we need, and we will start the journey of the t-shirt.
Yeah.
What was it called? Something about the traveling T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the traveling jeans.
T-shirt. It's magically going to fit us all perfectly too.
Yes, definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
So Jamie, where can people find you? What is your Twitter handle?
So it's just at JM Mispilkin. So JMMISPILKIN. My maiden name, which I mean, I can't drop it because Jaime Frazier, I feel like there's probably a million. I'm like, Jaime Mispilkin.
Yeah, but
there was one.
that's a tough one to say.
What Mispilkin? What Mispilkin means? What's this name?
I don't know what it means. I know it's Americanized from my great grandfather coming in from Ukraine. Came in. He had to go through Russia at the time to come over, and it was like Mispalnir or something like that.
Wow.
So they Americanized it to Mispilkin, and it's just it's a small family. There's maybe.
Does it have a meaning for it? Or
I have that. I don't know. Yeah.
Idea?
No clue. No idea. Yeah.
I have one more question for you. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be?
If I could have a billboard with anything on it?
Yeah, you can put anything on the billboard.
I feel like Howard was my entryway into everybody that I'm now into hearing about Scott Fishbowl, into everything. So thank you, Howard Bender.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love it.
He's gonna love that. I'm gonna have to make sure and tell him to watch.
We're gonna tag him with that.
And get the Better Cast app. No.
We're gonna tell him, watch till the end, Howard. There's something for you. That's so sweet, Jamie. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we really want to thank you for coming tonight, Jamie. I know this was out of your comfort zone. You told us that. And you know what? It's out of our comfort zone too.
Okay? You're so good at it.
We're just talking. We're just talking. So, but yeah, you were amazing. Your story, and sharing everything that you've shared with us tonight. But, thank you again.
Thank you for having me on. It's truly an honor. Like, I feel very, very blessed to have met you all and, been included in this and, just add on to my fantasy football journey.
And you know what? A lot of people, might not understand. And the content creators, I think, do understand. without content consumers, which is really what we are. That's
Mhm.
they say I'm a content creator by doing this show. That's not true. Okay, I'm a content consumer,
Mhm.
and without us, who's going to be reading their stuff,
Yep.
so they need us just as much as we need them.
Yep. And some days I think I need them a little more, like when I lose all my quarterbacks in my dynasty league.
They can't help you though.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, week 1 went down.
Oh, no.
Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, we see where he is now. I'm down to Baker Mayfield. Yep.
That's not good.
But I'm still somehow first in my division, so I'll take it.
Well, that's all that matters. You made it there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You can take that any day of time, Jamie.
Yeah.
You're still first in your division.
Yep. Not many this year, but at
Yeah,
least in a
it's
couple.
insane. Lots of injuries this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, thank you again to
Thank
the
you.
Sports Affiliation and to JC that he does everything for us. We just have to show up and start talking to our guests. I mean, how good is that? We really appreciate that. So we have so many things to be thankful for. Please enjoy your time this holiday with your family, your friends, and football, of course. We have Black Friday football, people. We have Black Friday football.
That's a first.
I'm so excited. You know what? I am going to go shopping. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going by myself. I got a few things.
Never did, Wendi.
I'm going. I take the day off work. Okay, my day off
never
is on Thursdays, so I'm not getting screwed out of my day off. I'm taking off Friday. So I am doing that. But join us next week, everybody. Yeah.
I
So
never
happy
went
Thanksgiving.
to Black Friday, by the way. Did you? I never shop on Black Friday.
Oh, you know what? It's a lot different than what it used to be. It used to be pretty crazy. It's not really like that anymore. But
I never did.
Yeah. I mean, I may or may not have elbowed a couple people in the past. I don't know. Whatever. I got what I wanted, okay?
Did you,
go to jail?
Oh my God, I can't.
But everybody, please enjoy the holiday. We love you. Thank you for coming. Make sure that you like us, give us a little thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following the Sports Affiliation. And next week, Carla, would you like to say who our guest is next week?
Of course, we have join us next week as we welcome our guest, Lyndall Godfrey. Aka Linda Lyons, the kicker queen.
Nobody's going to know who Linda Godfrey is, okay? But everybody's going to know who Linda Lyons is. She is the kicker queen. So
I think she's in my bots division, I think.
There you go. There you go.
See, you have to come next week too, Jamie.
Yeah. But thank you again, everybody. Really nice. Carla, thank you so much for everything. I love you. Jamie, everyone. Good night.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Bye.